Awesome. All right. Kia ora koutou, everyone. Welcome to the Microsoft New Zealand Partner Webinar for July 2021. I hope everyone can hear me. If you just want to place in the chat if you can hear me, or a thumbs up. We have quite a full agenda. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Jason. We have quite a full agenda this week or this month. And I'll just kick off with some introductions so you would be aware that we had Microsoft Inspire this month, and that was pretty awesome, learning about all the different updates we have and everything in the pipeline for this new FY and current innovations and just general business development. We have Matt Bostwick here live, who will go over the just general partner updates and just take key takeaways from his insights during Microsoft Inspire, as well as talking to the different key stakeholders internally and externally. We have the MCAP briefing from Angela, partner enablement and training offers from Ken, and Menisha, like I said earlier, will be joining us about half hour. So before I kick off, I'd just like to allow, I think Ashley is here and she's representing Transcends, but someone from Transcends is going through the GTM toolbox, and if they'd like to either share a bit about that, yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. Nice to see you all. Thank you so much, Isaac and Olivia, if you're on too, for getting us involved today. So just wanted to make a super quick announcement. We are working with Microsoft Australia. Very exciting Inspire announcement that New Zealand and Australia are now one region. So we've been working with Microsoft Australia through Microsoft's Q4. On a go-to-market webinar for Australian partners that will now be Australian and New Zealand partners. So we will be sending out the invite for anybody who's interested in attending. That is going to be on August 11th at 1 p.m. New Zealand time. And what we're basically going to do is run through the go-to-market updates from Microsoft Inspire with a bit of a deep dive on one of the new free for all partners included benefits, or free for most partners. It will soon be free for all partners, which is the GTM Toolbox. It's basically an online platform for creating marketing assets really quickly and really easily. And that was just rolled out. So if you're around August 11th, I'll drop the details into the chat. Please join us for the go-to-market webinar. Thanks so much, Isaac.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ash. And now I'll hand it over to Matt Bostwick, who will do his little keynote speech or keynote on just Microsoft Inspire and how that went this month.
Thanks, Isaac. Kia ora koutou, and welcome everyone. Do you want to just present the slides again, Isaac? Thank you. Hey, thanks, Ash. That's really exciting to hear what's coming out of the hopper with the team at Transcends, and it sounds like that's going to be a super helpful addition to what's available for our partners right across the ecosystem. One of the things that I think is really, really important for us is we bring a whole set of products and platforms that partners can build businesses on, but it's how do we work together to help all of you take those to market, and that's the kind of stuff that Ashley and the team at Transcends can really support on. So let me just take a couple of minutes to reflect. I just wanted to say this is the first, I think, Isaac, webinar of our FY22 financial year 22. So let me take a moment to say a massive thank you to all of you across the Microsoft partner ecosystem for everything you do, for your support for our joint customers, for your support of us and our products and platforms, and for all that you do with your teams to support our communities right across the board. It's been a real year of change, and we kind of said this last year, but you know, change and uncertainty is kind of the name of the game at the moment. But I guess, you know, my sense is with change comes opportunity, and one of the things that we've seen, and this was reflected in some of the conversations through Inspire, has just been the absolute massive amount of digital adoption that has happened over the last little while, kind of year and a half. And so if you think about organizations that are pivoting to cloud, using digital products, frameworks, and foundations to really help them rethink their businesses and their business models. The opportunity for us together is absolutely massive. And one great example for us to kind of consider is Home Care Medical, Whakarongoraua, which runs the Healthline, which many of you will know was a key part of the government's COVID response. When COVID hit, Home Care Medical had to pivot quickly, support not only a work from anywhere response for their team, but also the ability for them to very quickly ramp up the amount of people that they had in their contact centres as demand for their call centre services grew. And so they went from an old world approach to a cloud approach and took advantage of Azure Virtual Desktop to enable their team to work from anywhere, but also to enable them to bring new people on rapidly to scale up. And so that's just one example, but one really good example that I've seen and heard a bit about in our ecosystem of where organizations are pivoting to cloud, pivoting to Microsoft platforms to help them work remotely, work more efficiently, effectively, empower their employees in this time of change and uncertainty as we go through, continue to go through COVID and the response and the recovery. So my ask of all of you is have a think about what that opportunity is for you, because the opportunity is massive. There's never been such a time as there is now for businesses, your customers, to consider cloud as the right way to move. And I hope that many of you had an opportunity to catch some of the sessions through Inspire. There were some great sessions, and I just thought I'd call out a couple of things. I was privileged to be able to be part of the Australia and New Zealand Community Live event with Stephen Worrell and Rachel Bondi from the Australia Microsoft team. And one of the things that they called out was New Zealand Partner of the Year, Fusion 5. And I just wanted to acknowledge Fusion 5. They're a really interesting example of a partner that is doing some great things. And I think we can all learn from what they're doing and have a think about what it is that they're doing that might be relevant to your business and your business model. One of the things for me was that Fusion 5 have got a real focus on customer outcomes and digital transformation. Everything they do is about helping improve processes to change business models and support digital transformation for their customers. Now, whether that's through implementing Dynamics or bringing in Mindful as a data and AI organization that's helping them bring a data wrap into the services that they provide, they're really thinking about the outcome for the customer as opposed to just the technology input. Another really interesting thing that Fusion 5 have done is they've focused really effectively on industry, and this was a key theme that came out of Inspire. For us, we are going to be focusing more and more heavily on industry and industry prioritization and industry relevance, and Fusion 5 have really done this and done it well. They have in New Zealand, they've built a centre of excellence around education and are building a transformation practice across a number of universities that spans multiple different Microsoft products. And in Australia, they have done a very similar thing, a centre of excellence around manufacturing. And one of the customers that they have done some great work with in Australia is SPC, canning, jams, food production, and that's really putting them in good stead for growth. The final thing I'd say is they're really thinking about, again, their own business model and bringing to market and bringing to life software as a service products. And Gemini is a great example. It's an HR and payroll service that they launched that they've now built, put into Azure just recently, and are really using that to help solve some big challenges that customers like Toyota New Zealand have. So there's some great examples there of how they're focusing on industry, pivoting around customer outcomes, looking at how they do new things, create new revenue streams through SaaS, all based on the Microsoft stack to really drive their business. And of course, we had the Growth Partner of the Year, Aura, a really fantastic software as a service company that helps retailers tackle the $100 billion global retail crime challenge. Now, I've often said to people, if you want to do something amazing, find a really big problem and solve it. $100 billion to me sounds like a big problem. And so the team at Aura have really built some amazing software products that help the likes of Bunnings and Coles in Australia, Woolworths, Briscoe's here in Aotearoa, Z Energy, to solve some of those big retail crime issues and support retailers to manage some of those big challenges that they have. So a great example of a growth partner that's built their capability on Microsoft using all of the tools in the toolkit in Azure. So finally, let me just kind of touch on some of the key areas of focus for us, and some of these themes you would have seen come through in Inspire. Big focus for us, obviously, this doesn't change. It's all about cloud, cloud. And if you've seen the results today, the Q4 Microsoft results, I think you would have seen a 34% year-on-year growth across the commercial cloud business. Not bad numbers, and I'm sure we'd all agree 34% year-on-year growth. We'd all be pretty happy with that from a business perspective. And some other really interesting stats as well that we've seen. Teams monthly active usage or users now at 250 million. That's just growing exponentially. So if you're thinking about how do I build my business, set myself up for growth, keep thinking about cloud first. How do you bring cloud to your customers? How do you help your customers take advantage of some of the features and capability in the likes of Teams that are going to help them build resilience into their business models and be really effective moving forward. Azure is a massive focus for us, supporting customers with cloud adoption. Really important. Data and AI, increasingly important. Security. For the first time, we've really started to see security talked about as a business in its own right. And again, you would have seen, if you've had a look at the, pardon me, at the results, it's now more than a $10 billion business. It's growing fast. So how do you wrap some of the security products into your offerings so that you can start to really bring that trust and security story to your customers? And the last thing I'd say is just to think really carefully about that industry prioritization piece. And I talked about it with the Fusion 5 scenario. But if you think about some of the industries that we're focusing on, building industry clouds to support, trying to bring real industry relevance into the conversation, it's industries like retail, like government, like health, like manufacturing. So, you know, as you are building your capability and your solutions, keep thinking about how you can bring that real industry depth and industry relevance to what it is that you're doing. But with that, I'll hand back to Isaac. Kia ora koutou, mā te wā. Have a great afternoon. Cheers.
Cool.
Thanks, Matt, so much for that comprehensive overview. And I think it's really exciting seeing the journey that Microsoft is taking. And as value partners within our ecosystem, how can you tap in and tap out of those different offerings and platforms that we have available to you for partner transformation? Now, I'll hand it over to Angela, who will go over a Microsoft Cloud Accelerator workshop briefing, or sorry, Microsoft Cloud Accelerator platform briefing. So thank you so much, Angela.
Thanks so much, Isaac, and thank you so much for having me as well today. Really excited to be here to present to you all. Just waiting for my slides to load. Let me know when you can see them.
Yeah, you can scoot if you.
I think it's still loading. Angela. Okay, yeah. Awesome. Sorry, it's just spinning on my end. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. Awesome. Thank you so much. So I wanted to kick off by echoing Matt's words earlier and say a big thank you to you all, because Microsoft Cloud Accelerator Workshop is a program that's partner-led and wouldn't be possible without all of you. So for now, the 3rd year running, the Cloud Accelerator Program has resulted in more than 12,000 one-on-one customer engagements across the world over the past fiscal year. And we are truly excited to be bringing more to you, more investments to you this year as well. So thank you so much for your continued support for this program, and definitely throughout the year, would love to hear your feedback as we progress this program further. So today I just wanted to spend some time to give you a program overview of what to expect for FY22. I won't have time to go into the workshops in details, but if we would like to go through in a bit more details with what these workshops entail, we will be holding office hours over the next couple of weeks as well, combined with the Australian subsidiary. So please look and keep an eye out for those invites. So the workshop programs, they're pre-made workshop that enable partners to accelerate the customer journey. They're definitely a tool that's used as part of the sales cycle, mostly in the envisioning stage. So leveraging these accelerators enables you to facilitate more of a productive customer conversation, helping the customer to envision the possibilities and realize their opportunities. So the program enables the partners to engage the customers through leading edge technologies that can transform their business, to drive customer intent to purchase Microsoft products and service and engage with our field. So what I wanted to highlight here today is the different workshop stages. What I get asked on a lot of the daily basis is the timeline. So please make sure that throughout these the fiscal year, as you submit your nominations, make sure you upload the customer acknowledgement within 30 days. When that 30-day lapses, we can't extend. The nominations will either be cancelled or expired. So ensure that you hit those milestones each time. The other one I wanted to point out was the proof of execution at the end. When you're uploading it, make sure that all of the customer names and all of the details align so you're not delayed in that process. Because we have seen at that stage, there's been quite a few incidents raised, and it will delay the process in terms of you receiving the funds. With the website, please, I encourage you to go and check out this website where you can walk through and see the updated customer criteria and partner criteria for FY22. So all of the workshop material have now been uploaded onto this website. So I'll drop the link in the chat window as well for you, but I've shared the slides of Isaac, so you'll definitely be able to access this afterwards as well. I encourage you to spend some time getting familiar with the customer criteria and the partner criteria for the following year, as well as the material. If you have any questions, reach out to us about that, and we can definitely take you through in a more of a deeper dive as well. But I just wanted to highlight the different sections on the website where you can get a bit more details, and make sure that you download the resources here as well, available down the bottom of each of the sections. So this year we have split the workshops into 3 separate categories now for modern work, security, and the employee experience. So the names have changed and the content have been updated as well. One of the most prominent changes is that now the workshops, a select few of them, are available to customers within the 300 and 999 seat range. So this does mean the workshop opens it up to a lot more customers. So many of the workshops, the programs have been updated. I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of what percentage of the content has changed. So it does seem like a lot of the resources have been updated, and we've given you a lot of new content to digest over the coming weeks as well. So make sure you go through them. I did also want to point out that the funding has continued for Q1 in terms of the promotional pricing extension. So make sure you take advantage of that. It is also $5,000 per workshop in US dollars as well. So to qualify, make sure you submit your proof of execution before September 30th this calendar year. So that's all I wanted to cover today. Please reach out to myself over the coming weeks if you have any more questions. We will be holding office hours to go a deeper dive into this, and we'll have special guests on those as well to ensure that you can have the best partnership with Microsoft over the coming year. So thank you so much for having me. Over to you, Isaac.
Thank you so much, Angela, for both your time, but also your overview. And I will send out the full slide deck to all of our partners through the Yammer channel, so keep your eyes posted. And please, 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 if you do have any questions, we always reiterate it every month, but we are accessible and we can make time because we want you to have the best experience tapping into these different opportunities and to get the most out of it. So thank you so much, Angela. You have an amazing day. And I'll just hand it over now to Ken Wong, who will walk through partner enablement and training offers.
Hey, thanks for that, Isaac. Hoping I'm coming through clearly.
Yep, all good here, mate.
Perfect. Just give me 1 second. Let me just share my window on the PowerPoint slide, I think, here. Hopefully we all can see that.
Yep, looks good. Thanks.
Sure. So another introductory slide, guys, but I'm Ken Wong, and I'm the person who's in charge of partner enablement activities, as some of you may know. So, you know, what that really means is trying to get technical trainings onto you guys, our Microsoft partners here in New Zealand. And I think this quarter, we have some really exciting stuff coming down the line. So first and foremost, there's the certification week for partners at the moment. And the certification week for partners, you know, is the first of the new large-scale training events that we're launching in FY22. And it's the certification week that's just for partners, and it's really targeted towards our unmanaged and our SMB partners, well, you know, worldwide, but obviously that really plays a key role for us here in New Zealand, considering our market. This is a free 4-day event combining a series of prerequisite training resources, expert-led study groups, and exam preparation sessions. And any participant that qualifies, you know, through taking these courses do get a free practice test and also a potentially a full exam voucher based on their participation as well. So these sections will be interactive with checkpoints, polls, knowledge checks. So there will be a lot of interaction in it. It's not just going to be sitting there learning on like some kind of virtual webinar. There'll be workshops where you'll be kind of interacting and you'll have the opportunity to ask questions on, you know, whatever you might want to have in terms of this. The event is only open for the first 2,000 individuals. And once again, this is a global event, so please don't delay. If this is something that sounds really interesting to you, you know, do sign up for it. You know, I can't recommend it enough. If you're a partner out there today and you are looking to upskill yourself and think of what's next for me in the Microsoft learning journey, I think this is like a great first step, and it couldn't be a better time at the moment. I'll put the link onto the registration, but I'm sorry, onto the chat window. But if you'd like to, you can reach out to this registration link at aka.ms/certweek registration. So a little bit more about it is that it will be happening in 2 different time zones, and it will be happening 2 hours a day for 4 days. And it will also be one of the few events that are run globally that will actually be quite feasible for New Zealand partners to attend. So that's a huge plus for us. And it will be covering 12 different courses. I don't have all the courses in front of me, but I do know that all the fundamental courses such as AZ900 and MS900 will be covered. And it will also be covering some of the newer courses that have just been newly released around the security. So for example, if you look down there, security, compliance, and identity fundamentals, and the identity and access administrator associate, brand new certifications that are also being offered on this particular certification week. So next thing I've got to share is if you figured, you know, you sat through all that and, you know, you want to learn even more, one of our great learning partners here in New Zealand, Ace Training, are actually also delivering free 1-day workshops across, well, this quarter and also following the quarter up to the 3rd of December. So these are the 4 different courses they are offering: MS700 Managing Microsoft Teams, AZ700 Designing and Implementing Microsoft Azure Networking Solutions, which I believe is actually a new certification, so that's really cool as well. PL200 Power Platform Functional Consultant, and lastly, SC200, one of the new courses once again, Microsoft Security Operations Analyst. So, you know, obviously these are all free and once again delivered by one of our top learning partners here in New Zealand. So, you know, if any of these sound really interesting to you, once again, it's a free 1-day workshop. And if, you know, any of these topics are something that you've always kind of wondered on and you want to know more about, no reason not to attend the way I see it. It does include obviously the free workshop itself delivered by the Microsoft certified trainer, official Microsoft curriculum for every attendee, and lab demos. So what that means is that, you know, you can go in there and you can actually kind of try out some of the stuff rather than just have it as theory. And once again, you know, interaction, right? It's not a webinar session where everyone's kind of sitting there watching a video. If you'd like to register for this, please reach out to Ray ken.declerc@ace.co.nz. At the moment, I believe they're setting up their registration site, so that should be up shortly. But for the time being, he'll be taking all the registrations, and he will, ensure that you guys get a good, nice seat for this session as well. Also limited in registrations once again for this. I think it's 100 individuals, if I'm correct, per session. So yeah, feel free to reach out to Ray here if you have any other further questions. Lastly, so in line with the whole inspire conversation, I want to also congratulate one of the finalists from here in New Zealand, Dicker Data. They did some really good work. Unfortunately, not the winner, but finalists, so you really know what you're doing. And they're actually delivering an Inspire Roadshow across New Zealand, actually. So the Inspire Roadshow, in terms of this, will be delivered across New Zealand, like I've mentioned, in a few cities, as you can see on the little image on the right-hand side over there. And it will be really covering content that was obviously talked about in Inspire. So including new releases, changes with a big focus on the new commerce experience, which some of you may have heard about. So for partners transacting under CSP, this is a big and a positive change for partners, obviously in the CSP space. They'll be covering big bets for the next 12 months on Microsoft, such as M365 Lighthouse, Windows 365, changes with Azure and CSP into Azure Plan. They'll be touching on all areas in the Microsoft stack as well, including modern workplace, security, Dynamics 365, Teams calling, and Surface. And I think, this is one of the great opportunities that you guys would have to interact with somebody and ask any of those direct questions face to face if you ever have any of those. So there'll be networking, drinks to follow with lunch provided depending on the session, and a chance to catch up with their team of experts, one of the largest teams, I believe, within our indirect provider space, working here in New Zealand. But don't take it from me. Sign up for these sessions across the next month and hear it from Dicker Data themselves, right? I'll place the registration links of everything I've just talked about here in the chat window soon. But yeah, if you have any questions on any of these things as well, I'll take questions for the next 1 minute or so.
Yep. If you have any questions, team, please just hit up the chat or come off mute.
Cool. Okay, in that case, without further ado, Isaac, I'll send it back to you, and I'll just paste those links for anybody who's interested into the chat window if you want to sign up for any of these things.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Ken. Awesome overview of the work you're doing, and also certification week. There's absolutely no what an awesome opportunity to uptake if you really want to get certified for the work you're already doing. So if Menisha is here, I'll just pass it over to you and let me know if you want me to share my screen for your slides.
Hi everyone, thanks Isaac. Yeah, if you can run the slides for me, that would be super helpful. So I'm just going to quickly do a 10-minute run through of Windows 365, which was one of the key announcements that was made at Inspire. And I guess for any of you that don't get what you need out of the 10 minutes now, then I suggest you head along to the Dicker Data Inspire workshops that Ken has just talked about. So Windows 365, I guess the premise of this is really grounded in Windows for a hybrid world. So you'll probably hear a lot about the hybrid workforce. And if we just click into the next slide, Isaac, I guess these are some key stats that we have around the hybrid workforce. So it shouldn't be new to us in terms of how, as we emerge from, I guess, in New Zealand at least, a shift from the pandemic to a new world of work. Organizations need to adopt digital solutions to keep their people connected and collaborating. So 73% of workers say they want flexible and remote options. 67% of employees are saying they want more in-person collaboration. And then 80% of managers actually expect more flexible work from home policies. And so that's where we see there's a real hybrid work paradox, I guess, where employees are saying they want to be more flexible and will work remotely, but at the same time, they're also saying they want more in-person collaboration. So how do we enable this, I guess, as technology providers? So if we move to the next screen, Isaac, it's really like hybrid work creates opportunities and new challenges. And some of these new challenges are when we're looking at, onboarding and provisioning. So for some of us that did work through the pandemic and, we had frontline workers that we needed to get devices to, how did we actually do that with a zero touch approach? That's actually really difficult when we're thinking about, employees not coming into your offices, not being able to collect new PCs. Business continuity, so responding quickly to changing workplace situations, and then obviously security. So whilst hybrid work creates opportunities, it also creates some of these challenges. So not only do you need to get employees kind of set up, you also need to be able to provide support and respond quickly, also whilst managing this and ensuring your data is secure. And that's from, security from threats like big or small, essentially.
Oh. I don't think we can hear you, Menisha. Let me know if you want me to move forward.
Sorry, Isaac, I think I lost you for a moment.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, do you want me to move on to the next slide?
Yeah, this slide, today's computing solutions. Sorry.
Oh, go back. Yep, there we are.
Yeah, so I guess we all hear from customers now just how hard it is and how time consuming it can be to manage some of these challenges. And companies are using the tools that they have available to them today. So, client PC, known and loved, it's what people are most familiar with. And some larger organizations have also used traditional virtualization. So, virtualization has been around for decades and at the time was a real game changer, but it does require our IT teams and our IT departments to have experience with virtualizations that many companies aren't able to or don't want to invest in. And then finally, desktop as a service. So a newer concept offering kind of a cloud-based OS, which some organizations have adopted, but it is expected to grow. It does have some limitations in its infrastructure and integration, and requires new learning and a provisioning flow. So I guess that's where, if we move on to the next slide, Isaac, this is really where the cloud PC comes in, and it is a new solution for what we're calling today's hybrid workforce. It enables us to unlock new scenarios for customers and a new category of real personal computing that will deliver Windows 10 and obviously Windows 11 as well from the cloud. And Windows has been at the heart of Microsoft for decades, as we know. It's kind of the fundamental platform that we work, learn, create, and develop from. And I guess to deliver on that promise, that the cloud PC really offers a unique set of capabilities, different from what's available today. So different from those three solutions I talked to earlier. The cloud PC is really your personalized desktop apps, settings, and content streamed securely from the Microsoft Cloud to any of your devices. And there's a real distinct interaction between the Microsoft Cloud and the end user experience on the device, providing, persistent integration between the cloud PC and the operating system, a real consistent experience, built-in security, seamless compute and storage handoffs, and then in the future, the ability to even potentially work offline and resync again when you're connected. So I think that the one thing that does hold true with a cloud PC is the reliance on our connectivity, and the moment our internet connection goes down at right now, it feels like our whole world disappears, and that will only be amplified in the cloud PC era, but I think that's something that we're all kind of working with anyway. So if we move on, we basically talk to Windows 365, so hybrid Windows for a hybrid world. It is a new solution for today's hybrid workforce. It's really, your content wherever you go. It's computing options for different users. So I can talk to this through kind of a surface lens. So you know, sometimes we don't always have right now stock is constrained, as you probably know. So for example, the units we do have available might not always have the compute power that our users need, but by offering that compute option in the cloud, that is a way that we can kind of overcome the limitations of the hardware and make sure that we're getting that compute power from the cloud. Consistent settings across devices. You know, a lot of customers might talk about the Apple model, how it looks the same, acts the same on any device. And, you know, it holds true for Windows now too, particularly with this cloud offering. Secure by design and scalable storage, which is all really important for our end users. The next slide, I guess, talks about with all of this, what we aim to make Windows 365 be, and that is loved by users and trusted by IT. I think that's really important to land the trusted by IT message. So from an end user perspective, you know, employees will always be able to boot instantly to the cloud PC. They'll be able to stream their personalized Windows experience. So if that means they like the dark view or the light view, or they have all of their Windows in pink, then they can do that. Their apps and content and settings all from the cloud to any device. It travels with your users. It's always ready and it's always updated wherever they need to work. So again, laddering back to that hybrid workforce kind of content we saw early on, that's what it does. You can pick up right where you left off because your state of the cloud PC remains the same. So even when you switch devices, it's that simple, versatile Windows experience that is personalized for your users. The trusted by IT is quite important. So I guess, you know, Windows 365 will offer many configuration options. It will be able to scale to meet employees' needs, but with the right processing power and storage to do their job when they need it. It makes purchasing cloud PCs so you'd actually, you know, IT can purchase directly from the web with predictable per user per month pricing. So I think some of the other subscription models don't allow, I guess, for an elastic workforce. And what I mean by that, I guess, is when we have additional contractors or vendors or seasonal workers, whereas the predictable per user per month pricing actually allows for that elastic workforce, and ongoing management is actually easy for IT teams through a web portal. And finally, Windows is secure by design. So, you know, Windows 365 secures and stores information in the cloud, not on the device, really providing a secure, productive experience for users. It's always up to date and it just builds on the strength of the rich Microsoft security capabilities that we have today. I'm going to pause there. That's kind of all I have. That was pretty much a whirlwind tour of Windows 365. I just want to point out the general availability goes live on the 2nd of August. There is a customer and partner webinar that Microsoft is running across ANZ. And I can share the link to register in the chat window shortly. I encourage you to attend that. It's got some guest speakers from both ANZ and also Asia to kind of talk through Windows 365 in more depth. And there's a link, windows365.com. I'll also pop that in the chat window in a moment, but that's another key resource for you to go to. I hope that made sense. I guess we wanted to just dig a little deeper with the partner teams, given that it was such a key announcement and inspire.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Menisha, both for the Windows 365 overview, but you've been in our webinars for 2 months in a row, so you're basically becoming a cornerstone of our little work going on here. But yeah, like Menisha said, please check out all these resources that we're sending through. And I'm as equally excited for Windows 365 as I am for Windows 11. So yeah, awesome. If there's anything else that anyone has that they would like to get an overview now, please feel free to place anything in the chat or come off mute. We do have a bit of time left, so I am going to give the opportunity to have like an open discussion. But if not, we can wrap up a little bit earlier today and give everyone some time back, because it has been quite a long month. Cool. All right, team. Well, thank you everyone for your time, and thank you to all of our presenters this month. We'll keep in touch, and keep your eyes peeled for the Yammer posts that will have both the recording if you wanted to pause or review anything, as well as all additional resources. And congrats to all our winners for the partner awards and everything else that came out of Microsoft Inspire. Have a lovely rest of your week, team. See you, everyone.
Thank you.
No worries.